Hello mga ka-learners! So far, we have talked a lot about how our present official national language developed. We have also learned about studies that show how Filipino is increasingly becoming accepted and spoken by more and more Filipinos every year. We have said that every Filipino must learn to speak Filipino in order for us to grow in strength and unity as a nation. But what exactly is Filipino? This is a very important question and one that we will try to answer here. In this lesson, we will tell the difference between it and other Philippine languages, particularly Tagalog. Here is a paragraph in Tagalog. Let's read it. Pumasok ang guro sa silid-aralan, dala ang kanyang mga aklat. Sumulat siya sa pisara sa pamamagitan ng tisa, at inutusan niya ang mga mag-aaral na kunin ang kanilang mga takdang aralin. Now let's try to translate this to Filipino. Pumasok ang teacher sa classroom, dala ang kanyang mga libro. Sumulat siya sa blackboard sa pamamagitan ng chalk at inutusan niya ang mga estudyante na kunin ang kanilang mga assignment. Do you notice how the two are different? Do you think Filipino is just Tagalog with a new name? If you answered no, how do you think Filipino is different from Tagalog? Let's dissect the difference in the statements above. Let's focus on these words on this table. Can you see how the words have been changed? More importantly, can you tell why they have been changed? Look at the new Filipino words again. Do they sound familiar? They probably do. They are borrowings from other languages spoken in the Philippines, particularly English and Spanish. If you look at them closely, you will notice that teacher is derived from the English word teacher. Classroom is derived from the English word classroom. Libro is the exact same Spanish word for book. Blackboard is derived from the English word blackboard. Chalk is derived from the English word chalk. Estudiante is derived from the Spanish word estudiante. And assignment is derived from the English word assignment. So you can see that Filipino is different from Tagalog because it borrows more heavily from other languages. Words from other languages are respelled, adopted, affixed, and borrowed. They are often written the way they are pronounced by Filipinos. This is done in order to acknowledge the fact that these languages are a big part of our culture. Most Filipinos often use these English and Spanish words instead of their Tagalog equivalents. They are commonly used in everyday conversations and even in television and radio programs and newspapers. At present, Filipino borrows most heavily from the English language. Look at this table to see some other derived words. We have looked at the foreign borrowings in the Filipino language. But what about the borrowings from the local languages? Remember that in the 1987 Constitution, Filipino is supposed to be further developed and enriched on the basis of existing Philippine and other languages. At present, there are very few borrowings in the Filipino language from other local languages. This is understandable because Filipino is still in the process of development. Let us just hope that in the future, the definition of Filipino as stated in our Constitution will be fulfilled. That is, Filipino will hopefully contain more borrowings from other Philippine languages. So far, how would you describe the Filipino language? The Filipino language is meant to be a beautiful mixture of different words, concepts, and tones from many languages used in the Philippines. Today, however, it is still in the process of development and contains very few borrowings from local languages. It is still based on Tagalog, but it borrows heavily from many foreign languages, most especially English. When should Filipino be used or spoken? There are no clear rules about the proper situations in which Filipino should be spoken, but the instances in which Filipino may be spoken and in which it can in fact be very useful include: Number 1. Business transactions. If everyone speaks a national language, business transactions between Filipino entrepreneurs and small businessmen from different parts of the Philippines would be possible. Number 2. Education. It is important that Filipino be taught in schools so that children will be able to learn the national language. Aside from this, other subjects may also be taught in Filipino. The Department of Education provides for the use of Filipino and English in schools. Number 3. Services. Filipino will be very useful in many important services involving health, transportation, calamity relief, and others. A Cebuano doctor needs to understand what is ailing his Kapampangan patient, for example. Without the use of a common language like Filipino, how can they understand each other? Number 4. Literature and entertainment. Movies, television shows, books, and other forms of entertainment would be better understood by all Filipinos if they are delivered or written in a language common to all. In fact, the use of Filipino in literature and entertainment is one of the best ways to teach the people how to speak Filipino. It is also a good way to show the beauty of the language. Number 5. Information. Important news events and other significant pieces of information, if broadcast or delivered in Filipino, may be easily understood by people from all over the country. Number 6. Personal communication. Perhaps the most important function of our national language is to bring us Filipinos closer together. If you use Filipino when conversing, writing letters or emails, or in any other form of personal communication, you can gain many more new friends from all over the country. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. Filipino is different from Tagalog because it contains heavy borrowings from English and other languages. It is meant to be a mixture of different languages used in the Philippines. Today, however, it is still in the process of development and contains very few borrowings from local languages. It is still based on Tagalog, but it borrows heavily from many foreign languages, most especially English and Spanish. Filipino is very useful in many aspects of life, including business, education, services, literature, entertainment, information, and personal communications. You just learned the difference between Filipino and Tagalog, and how and when our national language should be used. How about our other languages? Should we abandon them and just speak and use the national language? The answer, of course, is a resounding no. See you on our next lesson to discuss the importance of all languages in the Philippines. Till next time, mga ka-learners!